I think the tale of this building is really connected to the story of the West itself. In 1849, you had the discovery that gold was in the streams and it could be had for the panning. Hundreds of thousands came to San Francisco. But as industrial techniques took over, hydraulic mining began, gallons of water were shot against the hillsides. Individuals began more often working for larger industrial interests. It's a time of hope, it's a time of inspiration. It's also a time that is built on the labor of hundreds of thousands, and so we need to be aware of that as well. Some 40 people, bankers, speculators, financiers, created the charter of the Stock and Mining Exchange. Some called these people the 40 Thieves. It was an exciting and roistering time. All you had to do was peek into a saloon where the food was free but the booze was not. The 40 Thieves would engage in fistfights. There were people arriving in offices and shooting a competitor. As time went on, there was an urge to become more respectable. I think there is an arc of history. There are panics and times of great affluence. The 20s were certainly a time of excitement and financial adventuring. In 1903, the New York Stock Exchange created a building which had a temple front. It was designed in a classical style. In San Francisco in 1923, the investors in the Mining Exchange building hired architects Timothy Pfluger and James Miller to create a place that visually said, this is a respectable, important institution on the equal to New York City. But in fact, it was a provincial center compared to New York. The language they chose to portray this was an allusion to classical forms which are very polite and beautiful indeed. It makes for a message which says, this is order, this is something that you can rely upon. This is a unified way of speaking architecturally. The central figure, Hermes, known to mythology as the messenger of the gods, in this case symbolizing commerce. Here is a building which is the mute observer of all of these things that have happened beyond its creation. In the 1920s, there was a sense that all things were possible, and this melted away in the 1930s. Over the years, it lost its magic and its youth. The exchange folds in about 1938. The Exchange building was abandoned in the 1970s. In our work in historic preservation, what we like to see is a building like this turned into something which can be newly useful in the present day. It's always a gamble when you try to take a building, bring it back. It's a miracle to me.